Okay, let's take a look at how we can display the error inside the form itself. And if we go back to VS Code and go back to our user store, we're throwing the error. So in the case that we log in, the login fails, we try and we fail, it's going to be caught here, and then we throw the error back to the component that called this login method. And that would be our login form. So if we do get an error from our onSubmit here, then we can catch it here and do something with the error. Now, what we get from Formic as well, if I just surround values in parentheses, then we can get some properties and methods as well from Formic here. And what we're going to use is something called setErrors, which is a function that allows us to set errors inside our form. Now, in order to use this setErrors, then we also need to add another property to our form itself, and we're going to call it error. And we're going to give it a value of null. And then what we can do is after the userstore.login, we can add a period and then say catch. And then we can take the error that we get back and we can say set errors that we get from Formic. And then we can specifically set the error property. And what we'll do in this specific case is we'll say invalid email or password. And let's move this down. So in the event that we do have a problem, we've entered a bad password or email address, then this error property is going to be set in the catch here to list string of text. What we could do then is we can add an error message, and we'll say error message, just as we've used before. And inside here, we can give it a name equal to error. And then we can render. And what we'll render is just a semantic UI label. So we'll add label. And we'll give it some style. And we'll say margin bottom of 10, just to move it up and away from the button, because we're adding it in between the text input and the button here. And we'll make it basic. We'll give it a color equal to red. And we'll say the content is equal to errors dot error. And we need to also pass down to our form the errors inside here into our render props, and this should now be working without any actual errors in our component itself. So what we should be able to do is go test, and let's take a look. And I'm just going to refresh the page. And if I just type in a bad username and password, now we can see that we get the invalid email or password displayed on our form itself. So this is just an example of a way that we can use Formic error functionality to actually set an error in our form and then display that error on our component after submission as well. And that's what we're looking for. So now we know that we're getting our user back from our API when we do successfully log in. What we want to do is store that token and set our user object when we do log in, and we'll take a look at that next.